Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello.
Jeffrey Cranford, and we're talking about the life of the Apostle Paul in a series called Rescued from Death, and we talked last time about that death. Before we get into Paul, let me ask you a golf question, as we often do.
Okay.
Have you ever been hit by a golf ball?
I have, and I'll never forget the first time I was hit by a ball, and it was right in my thigh, and it just right off the tee. And I started down the fairway a little bit, and the guy, now this was when we were kids, it was a par 3, and the guy was hitting a driver, you know.
Oh, wow.
And just a little screamer low left, and yeah, it didn't feel any.
No, it didn't feel good.
No good.
Actually, yesterday I was playing golf with somebody. We were comparing scars because I have a scar from a 4-iron from when I was a child. And he says, well, you see this scar right here? And he started to tell me this story about when he hit a ball and it hit a rock that he did not see and came straight up between his eyes. He said he showed up in the pro shop with a towel full of blood from that he'd been holding against his head. He said, "Can I have a rain check?" And they just wrote him out a rain check right there on the spot.
Oh, man.
So that's a dramatic thing. Saul of Tarsus, this guy who was wandering around, he says at the beginning of Acts 9, it says that he was on his way to gather up believers for persecution, that is, those who believed in Jesus. And he had quite a dramatic encounter with Christ.
He did. You know, I was recently in Israel, and that road to Damascus, when we all know it, it's kind of becomes a kind of a little cliche now. Like some guy's on a road to Damascus and has a moment, an epiphany moment, and it's kind of a road to Damascus experience. What's amazing about Paul in that is that God, you know, you look at that conversion experience, he was not only not seeking God, he was actually in opposition to God.
Right.
And that to me is what makes it so obviously so dramatic.
I think sometimes I'm involved in a lot of ministerial things, and I've heard this thing of that we should be looking for people who are close and spend our time on them. But a lot of times there are people who seem far, far away, and God just gets hold of them right now.
Yeah, we were with a group of men this morning, and I said, you just invite a guy to the group, invite a guy to your group, invite a guy to go to church, invite a guy to come over to your house. That guy will never come. That guy's a million miles. You'd be shocked at what God can do. Because if you're thinking of yourself being the guy that's got to lead someone, then it's your ability, your merit, your biblical knowledge or whatever. But if you start thinking God's drawing these people, and he draws people like Paul.
Yes, right.
At this time, Saul, right.
Well, should I anticipate, though, Jeff, that this is a normative experience, this kind of dramatic conversion experience, or have you seen a variety of experiences?
I have seen everything. I have seen people that came in to an event or to something, and they said absolutely in complete opposition to God, and they walk out and they said, I have no idea why. I've been given faith. I have faith. I walked in here with zero. I was an atheist, maybe even a militant atheist, and somehow I just believe now. And then you see that slow progress. Maybe somebody had kind of been introduced to Christ as a child but hadn't walked with him for years. Always had a sense. I talk to guys all the time. I never really had anything against Jesus. I just I didn't really think about it. I didn't really think deeply about it. And now I'm being provoked to think more deeply about it. And I've seen everything in between. So yeah, every situation is different. God draws people at different times, stages, and in different places. Both dramatic and what you might consider. Of course, I consider anybody that comes to Jesus a dramatic experience. But yeah, I've seen it all. I think you have too.
Well, I have. I found myself in recent conversation or several conversations in recent years with people who are absolutely true believers, dedicated to Christ, dedicated to practices of the faith and to the community of believers, who say, I do not know of a time in my life when I did not believe. They were just from, they can't go back and pick a day like a lot of us have this birthday of faith.
Sure.
But they were brought up and cannot remember not believing.
Amazing.
Which is an unusual story that you don't hear told sometimes. But the fruit is there, and so we know that it's accurate that they do believe, and it wasn't just religion.
Sure.
So, yeah, well, your experience may be any one of these, but the thing that we can all take joy in is that we are converted from that life of death into the life of Christ.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for being with us, and we will see you again next time.